Okay, good morning, everybody. We are here today to learn about NAR RPR. So just so you know, it's called Realtors Property Resource, or RPR. It's only for realtors, so the public doesn't have any access to this. It was built by NAR about 10 years ago, but had a major refresh in March. So there's a lot of improvements in there that I hadn't been aware of. I took a class in it, a CE class, and then I kind of went in and delved myself. So I'm going to cover most aspects of it, but I would just recommend that you just go in and explore it. You can't break it, run different reports, do different things. It is for commercial and residential. For commercial, the only problem with it, it is fed by MLS. So many commercial properties are not on MLS. But at the end, I'm going to show you how you can run a report for a property that you have that you want to talk about that's commercial. But comps and things like that, it's a little more difficult. So some of the benefits and how you can use it for buyers. So buyers come to you and they can get anything they want from Zillow or MLS-LI or just Google anything and they have it. But this provides them with information they can't get anywhere else. So if you start at the beginning by using this as a resource and sending it to buyers, it might be a way to create a buyer loyalty. So it includes for the buyers demographics, school reports, local available properties. For sellers, it gives you assistance in pricing a home. What I found is if I picked a neighborhood that I didn't know anything about and I went in and I put everything that I knew about a property, it really helped with the pricing of it. So also you can print out the report and bring it to your CMA. It's also a great source for public records. Another way that you can use it is for appraisers. So when you ask them, do you want comps, and you bring them, you're actually bringing them an MLS sheet that they already have access to. If you print them out an RPR report, it's something that they don't have access to. So it's just a thought that if you want to do something a little out of the box, you might want to do that. There is an app for this that is excellent. See, can you see the very top? That's what it looks like, RPR. It's like a less than, more than sign. Okay, so if you want to go and find the app for this, you can go ahead and find the app. It's amazing. You just click on it. I like it better than HomeSnap because you click on it and tell you all the available properties. Yeah, of course.
Can I ask a question? Are you going to be going over the app or online?
No, I'm going to be going over the program. I'm going to start in just a second. I'm just sort of giving you.
Just in general. Okay.
Just in general. The app is very self-explanatory. You go on, you can actually at an open house, you can open the app, have it ready, have a buyer's report ready or a neighborhood report. And they say, can you give me demographics on this neighborhood? And boom, it goes. It's an amazing tool. So I'm going to show you how to access it. So there's a few different ways. In the chat, I wrote down, if you want to go directly into it through the web, it's narrpr.com. It's in the chat. I'm going to show you how to get in there through our lirealtor.com site. And in the chat also, I put the help number. So write that down. They are 24/7. They're supposed to be really, really very good. So let me just get started. I'm going to share my screen.
Leslie?
Yes.
It's Grace. I will confirm they really are good.
It's amazing.
They're excellent.
Oh, you've been on the help with them? Okay.
Yes,
good.
they really are. They're very good.
Excellent. All right, let me move you guys over here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, somebody wanted me to admit them. I didn't do anything. Okay. Yeah. All right.
See if it'll let you. If it doesn't, just let me know.
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right. So on your information page over on the right-hand side, there's this thing called One Key MLS Links. And through there, if you click on Realtor Property Resource, it brings you right into it. If you have a problem like it, I think you might have a problem if your email address that you have with National Association with Realtors does not match the one you have in LIBOR, but try that first. That's the easiest way to do it. Once you're logged into to that. Okay, so let me put you guys over here.
Hi, Leslie, this is Alka. How are you?
Yes, good. I'm glad you made it.
Thank you. I just want to add one thing. Recently, I don't know if other people are also having issues, but When I try to go to RPR from Stratus, it doesn't accept the password and everything. And then I called RPR and they said that they're having an issue with their link with MLS. And so this says if you're using this, you have to log into directly to their site.
Okay, and that is in the chat. I did cover that there's two ways to access it. The first time that I went into LI Realtor Stratus and I clicked on it, it didn't work. And I do think it has to do with the email addresses matching or something, because now I've had no problem in the last few days.
Right.
So there is two ways. And if you have a problem, call their helpline. It's 24/7.
Right.
That's also in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And Leslie, I just logged in for the first time and it went right in.
Okay, so I think it has something to do with, I don't know, the email addresses or such. Okay, so I'm going to start with the profile. So up at the top right, everyone has a profile. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to profile. You should set this up for sure. So I added my photo. You can change the photo here. I went into brand serve and I got the logo and I inserted that in here. This sign-in email address, that I changed. And once I changed that, it seemed to work better, that I could log in from MLS. If you want to change your password, you do that here. And then over here, it's just your basic contact information. You want to make sure all that's correct. You want to make sure your time zone is correct. It actually connected zip forms to this. We don't have that anymore, but I'm not sure what else you can connect. I think that will be coming. Mobile access, I have an iPhone. I just added another iPhone on just yesterday or last week. Your email address, your website.
Where you click on the profile?
A profile, yeah. And I almost would recommend that you don't follow along because it's going to be a little harder to keep up. You can if you want, but it's over here on the top right in the pull down where your profile is. Okay, and then you're going to want to put on your website, and then it needs to connect you to an MLS. So see if you're connected. This is One Key MLS. It's not going to be LI Realtor. It's One Key MLS with this. So this was already in here from before other times that had been in there. Your license number. And one nice feature they have too is you can have assistant users. So if you're on a team or you have an assistant, you can create an assistant user and they'll be able to go in here and access your account. There is also a new subscription. I didn't really want to receive the updates. You have to agree and then you save. So those are the ways that you can change your profile. Up here under settings is where you can set a whole bunch of other things. So here, residential, you can set what you consider to be a new listing. I just left mine on 30 days, but honestly, if you're going to look at this once a week, once a day, you might want to turn it down to 7 days, which I'm going to do. If you set recently closed leases, sales and leases to 90 days, that's fine. You can actually, I might up that a little bit to 120. On commercial, as I said, there was a commercial aspect. You can set new listings to 30 days, recently closed sales leases to 180 days. Then down here, you can add marketplaces. So I added these markets. It knows that that's where I work. So I am going to add in Glenwood Landing. So you can see it grabs things and now Glenwood Landing's in there. So those are all my properties that I have. And then I'm going to go up and I'm going to save it. So it's basically how you set your settings and your profile. There's one other thing here that says data tools. That's more for associations. So you don't have to worry about that. Just worry about the profiles and settings, which are on the same tabs. Okay. So I'm going to go to home. And this is where you're going to start. So down here, these shortcuts are like guided tours. So let me just give you an example of what that looks like. The first time you go in, you might want to use these tours. They're not too in-depth, but what it does, it says, okay, show me. And then it's going to give you like a little, what research does, find neighborhoods, schools, market activity, commercial site. Okay, next. And we'll go through the next and it will explain. I'm going to go through this myself so I don't have to. But that's what these right here, that's what those are, those shortcuts. They're going to give you a little bit of a guided tour on that. I'm going to actually start out with a property search. So under research, I'm going to start with the property search. And we're going to go over all these. Okay, so here, I'm going to put down, oh, hang on one second. I made a boo-boo. This needs to be on residential. I was just playing around with commercial. Okay, so in here, I'm going to put in this, the house that I grew up in. And I'm going to search. Okay, so now what it does is it comes up with a photo of the home. It comes up with a map. The photo is one of those that you can kind of move around. You can put yourself anywhere. You can look down the street. You know, you can see what's up. So that's what the pictures are. So I'm going to go through this property summary. So right here, there is an off-market public record. This house is off the market right now. It's an RVM. You'll see on this program, there's some prices are labeled AVM, and some are labeled RVM. That's the valuation that RPR is putting on them. AVM has less information and less data that it's basing that price on. If you have an RVM, it has a little more value. So it shows you when that happened. And down here, it shows you how confident are they in that number, 4 out of 5. So I have fairly high confidence in that number. So I'm going to start, well, let me go through this property here. So it tells you 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,660 square feet on 1/3 of an acre. It gives you a range of price. It gives you the type, the last time it's sold, RVM month change. This is kind of handy. It actually shows you year after year prices, price by square foot, number of units, and who the owners are. Then it goes through the property facts. If you need to make changes, so for example, this says 3 bedrooms, but it's actually 4 bedrooms. Baths is right, partial baths, 29. It goes through all the dimensions, the garage, yes. The year built, total rooms, this is actually 8. Actually, no, 7, okay. Roofing, fireplace. So if you have any changes that you know about, you can save it, okay? And what that did was, see this? RVM was 755, now it says 766. That's the comp analysis from the comps. So let me do, there's a little bit more down here I want to show you. It shows you the schools. Okay, it says North Shore Middle School. If you click on North Shore Middle School, which I'm going to do later, but I'll do it now. It will bring you to North Shore Middle School. It will tell you the ratings. You can create a school report on that school. It gives you comparisons, North Shore Middle School versus the Central School District, the GPA, the test scores, graduation rate, ACT score, SAT, and teacher salary. So, and how many teachers are on the first or second year. On the right all the time, that you pretty much every page you're on here is going to be the map. It's going to be different listings that are nearby and how it compares. What it will do is the zip code for Glen Head is 11545. The median estimated home value is 926, in Nassau at 641, in New York it's 433. And it will tell you the change. And I love this because it will tell you the 12-month change. So when someone says to you, well, how much was my house a year ago? You can actually answer that for Glen Head, it went up 9.4%, and Nassau 11.7%, and New York overall 26.2%. There's a lot of information over here. Listing price, 12 months median change, median days. So it has a lot about the general area. Okay, so we go back to here. Okay. I'm going to go back home. Hang on one second. And use the back button. Okay, let me just do this again. Hang on one second. Okay, so 11 Cypress Avenue. Okay, so the map has a ton of different things. You can actually put your own updates in there that are going to be just for you. It also has historical records for this property, said when it was listed, what the ID was, and then the whole how it compares, which we've already been through. Okay, so let me click on the map. The map has so much, it's incredible. So there's a lot of different views. This is the subject home right here. It's telling you all the values of all the homes around it. Okay. Down here, down a little bit, there is a legend. Sorry, one more. And this tells you what's for lease pending, what's for sale lease, recently closed, distressed, new leasing, which is based on that number that I put down, that a new listing, whatever I put in, was going to be 2 weeks old or whatever, whatever's coming soon, what has an open house. So let's go back up here and I'll go through the different things that you can do with this. So one is you can make it full screen, which I'm going to do. It's easier to see. Get rid of the legend. I gotta make it on full screen to do that. Okay. Let me go back to make it full screen. Okay. All right. So the view, you can change the view. Right now we're on satellite, but I'm just going to do road. Kind of simplifies it a little bit. Okay. You can draw on this if you want. You can draw a radius, a polygon, a box, or freehand. So if I just want to, do this and get this neighborhood, I can do that. I'm going to delete that. Okay, so there's many different ways that you can draw. It has a driving thing, so travel time. So say you want to know to send your travel. So it knows where I am, I found. Let me see if this. Okay, so it's telling me that by car at 8 a.m., it's going to take me 15 minutes to get from 11 Cypress Avenue to my location. So it's a really nice thing to do. Now it just expanded that map to include all those areas. Okay, so that's the driving, and you can see under driving, you have travel time, distance, and traffic counts. You can also add points of interest. So points of interest, say you want transportation, you want to know how close it is to a train or houses of worship. You can do that, and then apply it. And it will show different places where there's transportation. It's a little hard to see, but right here, if you click on that, oh, that's the house. But under here, where did I just see that? There was like a little train thing. So it's a little hard to see when you put the transportation in. This is the subject property. These, if you click on these, it will show you 2 properties. Okay, so you have points of interest. As I said, they get kind of buried underneath, so it's a little hard. Move this. Oh man. Okay, let me put the supply. Okay, and then it has schools. So this to me is amazing. So public elementary schools, we're going to apply that. And what it's going to do is I pull out the map. It shows you where the schools are. Right? See the little hats? We'll show you that. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. And you could click on any one of these schools that you want to put in there. I'm going to change the view so it's a little easier to see and put it on aerial. You can see there's a ton of houses, so that's satellite. See. Okay, there's just way too many houses here. But anyway, it will show you all the schools. We're going to do a school search separately. And then it's going to show you data layers. So you can do any one of these things. You could do estimated home values. The 12, I think they mean the 12 months change in estimated value. That's what it looked like to me. Value per square foot, concentration of distressed. So I'll do 1, average sale price. I'll apply that. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you can see down here, there's a little grid that shows you what the prices are here. So the deeper blue, the more of an average sale price there is. So this is the data layers, and there's a lot of different things that you can do in here. the year built. If you want to get an idea, is this an older neighborhood, a younger neighborhood, all that, you can do that. Shows you all the schools along the way. You can also add flood zones. So each property has a flood zone rating also, but if you want the map, this, if you want the map, this will show you what the flood zones are. And down here, it will show you low risk, high risk, and what's coastal. So this data layer, it has a ton of things in here that you can use in the map search. I want to make sure I covered everything. Okay. Also in the map, there's a thing called, let me zoom in a little bit. There's a thing called geographies. Yeah, here we go. So on geographies, hang on. Let me go back in. Okay. I want to get a clean map. I have so much stuff on here, but apparently I can't. Let me get rid of all this that I can. So this is where you can go into each thing. You can just clear all your searches. So you have a little bit more of a cleaner map going on. Okay, so if you show geographies, it will show you can show county lines. So you can see this, it'll show you, see all the county lines. You see where Queens is, Nassau, and Suffolk. It will also show you municipalities. So if you have a problem and you're not sure if it's the town of Oyster Bay, if it's the town of North Hempstead, and you zero in on a house, it will show you exactly where it is. It will have cities. So there's only a couple of cities, but I guess they're considering villages cities. I won't worry about census tracts, opportunity zones. So if you're working with an investor that wants to take advantage of an opportunity zone, you can certainly research opportunity zones. I know that there's one in Glen Cove where I live. You can go by zip codes, and then they have it by neighborhood. So I'm just going to pull it in a little bit for this. Change the view to road. Okay, so now if we're in cities, but now if you want to look at macro neighborhoods, and honestly, I don't know the difference between a macro and a minor, but if you're working somewhere where you really don't know the area and you don't know what would constitute the neighborhood of that house, this would be really invaluable. And there's several of them. There's macro, which is bigger, intermediate, but I liked the minor neighborhood and the micro neighborhoods. And it will actually show you what is what they consider a neighborhood. And then this is a micro neighborhood, which I believe is the smallest. So there's a micro neighborhood. Here's a micro neighborhood. So it will do all these things. And then school districts. This is pretty cool. So on school districts, it will give you the lines of the school district. Okay, so for example, this is Glen Cove School District. It's pretty accurate from what I've seen. Parts of Glen Cove, you can live in Glen Cove, but actually go to North Shore schools. And if you zoom in on here, it's showing you that these are areas. This is North Shore School District. This is Glen Cove School District. These are parts of Glen Cove that are actually going to North Shore schools. So this is very accurate. And then they drill down the school districts also by 9th to 12th grade, 6th to 8th, and K through 5th. So if you have somebody who wants a particular elementary school, which should be easier to find on MLS, you could actually drill down all the way to an elementary school. So that it's very, very, very detailed, these geographies. So that's the geographies. Let me close this. Okay, so that's a map search. So if you go down, when you go in and play with it, go down and try every different thing. And then we're going to look at a neighborhood search. So say you have a listing in Glen Head and you want a neighborhood search on it. So you just put in the zip code, choose the town, and then you're going to search. And they're pretty good with their demographic information in here. So it gives you the median estimated value. How did that change from last month and from last year? It shows the charts, median estimated home value, sale price versus sale volume. This is all about pricing. Then it goes through population of children by age group, population of adults by age group. Over here on the right is all the schools. What's interesting that I noticed about this, it actually did include that. It does not include Seacliff Elementary School because it's not in Glen Head. So even though you could have within a school district, schools in different towns, it's only going to give you the schools that are in the town that you researched, which I thought was a little bit of a... Okay, and then it goes through surrounding towns and what the numbers are in those surrounding towns. Okay, so there is tabs here. So that is the summary. If you go through housing, it will drill down a little bit deeper. And we'll talk more about housing and the prices and all that. And then if you go to people, it's working. So if you talk about people, it talks about population density, median age, education levels of the population. So you could see at least a college education seems to be the biggest. Children, most of the children in that zip code are middle school. Population of adults, most of them are from 35 to 54. So this is just income brackets. Most of them are 150 plus. And then what is their occupations? And I'll go through that. Presidential voting pattern. So this is, you'll notice there's nothing really too objectionable about this because I normally say to people, be the source of the source, like send them a link. But this really is pretty clean as far as what it talks about. Economy, it'll go through that. It's opening. So economy, it talks about income per capita, that's per child, and median household income. How that compares to Nassau County, New York, and the US. What the unemployment rate is, it didn't have some of these numbers for Glen Head. And then over here, it's still giving you the same information about surrounding towns. And then the last section is quality of life. Talks about the elevation, how much rain it gets, how much snow it gets, how many days there's full sun, travel time to work. I mean, it gets pretty, how many Superfund sites? 0, that's pretty good. Average commute time, like the people that live in 11545, how long do they take to get to work? How many people you see most people drive, what the average temperature is. And then the AARP livability index, which includes housing, transportation, neighborhood, environment, health, affordability. So this is an AARP thing, and walkability score. So this is just, imagine providing this to a buyer when they come to your open house. I mean, it is just filled with information. And if they ask about the schools, I'm going to go to the school search. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay, so on a school search, all they want is city, state, or zip code. So I'll keep it at 11545. And here it goes. Okay, so what it does is it shows you all the schools: Glen Head, Glenwood Landing, Lehigh, North Shore High School, Greenvale School, private. It does not show the Seacliff, like I said, because it's not within the 11545. But you can click on any one of these. Glenwood Landing, that's my little alma mater, Glenwood Landing. So it talks about what the grade levels are, what the address is. You can create a report for this school district, which I'm going to do. Comparisons and ratings. Let me do that now. When you create a report, I'm going to do a property report. Let me see it. Yeah, I'm gonna do a school report. You can email it to someone, and I'm gonna get more into reports, but just, you know, you can email it to someone, you can just download it. So I'm just gonna download it so I can show it to you. It will run in the background, and while it's creating that report, you continue doing what you're doing. You can get a mini property report, a school report. There's all different things that you can get. Let me go back to Glenwood Landing. So this gives you more information, school by school. This is an elementary school. So there is a ton of information in here. Okay, so the report has been successfully generated. So I'm just going to show you what a school report looks like. This is only for the elementary school. It's all branded. This is the information that I put in there. That's why it's important to put it in there correctly. It shows you it on a road map and a satellite map. And then it goes through all the ratings, average GPA, the name, the phone number. It's a lot of really great report. It's got community reviews. This is interesting. On the reviews that I've read it for the schools, most of them are pretty bad. Because I think, I don't know whether kids write it or what, but it tends to not be so good. Okay, so that's what a report looks like. And let me go back to here. And so you could click on any one of those schools and send a report on it. Okay, so that is the school search. Now, I'm going to get a little more detailed. So you do a property search, right? I'm going to go back to the property search, which is what we started with. When you do this, so I'm going into Glen Cove now. And so far, I haven't put in anything that it didn't understand. It's been pretty good. So what you can do is you can refine a search. So right now it's considering this house with an AVM. If you remember, an AVM does not have as much data to support it as an RVM. So AVM is a little bit less confident. You could see the confidence score in this price is only 2 out of 5, where the last time was RVM, and you remember it was like 4 out of 5. So there is a way to refine your value. So we can go through this. Okay, last sold. The whole thing, it goes through the lot size. You can make any corrections that you want to. 8 rooms, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Okay, so we're gonna leave this alone, but we're gonna edit the value. So by editing the value, this is a refined value. So this is all, if you want to change anything here, this is all correct. So I'm gonna leave this alone. But say you went in there and you put new bathrooms in. So you did bathroom remodel mid-range, the date it was completed. You see, they only give you the last 12 months. So I'm just going to add this in, even though the bathroom wasn't done. Oh no, hold on, they do give you a whole thing. Okay, so this was done in May. See if they'll let me get away with 2009. And the value of that bathroom was $12,000. We're going to add that. That just added $3,625 to my estimate and to my value. There's a lot of different things, major kitchen remodel, garage door replacement. It gets very roofing, master suite edition. If you added that in August, I'm just making this up right now, 2020, and it cost $30,000. You'll see they're not going to give me all 30,000. They're going to give me 15,000 on that. So now these are the 2 changes that I made. So here's a needed improvement category. So now this is, okay, so say it needs new roof. It needs a new roof. That cost is going to be $18,000. We're going to add that. Now it's going to subtract the full $18,000. Now here, refine value by local market conditions. Local market conditions are super hot, so I'm going to move that up a little bit. Home exterior condition is very good. Home interior condition is pretty good relative to comparable properties. I'll leave it at equal. Lot size is equal. The view, nothing special. Actually, I'm going to turn that down a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's not letting me move it. I don't know why not. Okay, privacy is pretty much equal to others. So with what I just did by bringing up the exterior condition, local market conditions, it added 39,000 to my value. So if I go up here, I'm going to apply all this. See if it changed it. Right now, the original estimate was 650. I just added 40,000, and now the original estimate is 690. But you know what? I know that house is not worth 690. So you can go and you can kind of play around with this, and you can create a report, but you can go down very, very deep in this as far as refining it. Okay, so that's how you refine a value. So let me go back, property search. I'm going to go back to home. So now what I want to do is I want to create a CMA. So I will say to you that I love Moxie, and Moxie I love because it has a combination of our marketing and a CMA. So I don't really recommend using this for a CMA, but I think it's really good instead of going to MLS and doing your research. I think they have way more information in here for your research. So for a listing appointment, what I would suggest is you print out a property report on this property, and then you run your comps through here, and then you add those MLS numbers into Moxie. That's the way I would do it if I were you, because then you have one report, which is pretty nice. I have to tell you, I have subscribed to Geodata Plus. I've shared it with you guys. I'm going to cancel it this week because this has every single thing that the public records that the other one does. So I'm just going to go through that quickly before I do the CMA. So let's just go back to 5 Grant Place. Okay, so it has the property summary. It's got the property facts, which we went through. It's got the schools, AARP livability. It's got the interior features. It's oil, which it's not. How big is the garage, the porch, exterior features. That sounds about right. This is important. Is there a sewer? Yes, it's municipal sewer, municipal water. What's the building condition? Here's the flood zone. It's K. So down here, if you scroll down on a property, it's going to give you the flood zone. It'll give you the walkability score. I don't live here, but I do own this house, and it will tell you, this is me. Is it owner occupied? Well, it's not. Okay. It will give you the parcel number, what city, municipality. And sometimes if you really don't know an area that well and you're not sure, this is a great place to look up. What municipality does this property land in? Census tract number, the postal code. It will give you lot, a section, lot, block, and a plat map that you can detail if you want. It will give you tax information, what it was assessed at. Deed records. It will tell you when the deed was transferred, and mortgage records. It will show you all the mortgage information on this property. So if you have all this, this is much better to me than public records. Public records does not have all this, and I think it's laid out a lot better. So I love the public records feature in here. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do a CMA. So we're going to search a property, and I'll do the same one. Okay, and then we're going to go step by step. We're going to go down here. We're going to go, sorry about that. We're going to go first to CMA. You can see summary, history, charts, refine value, CMA. Okay, so for CMA, it gives you the property summary. So the first thing you do, use this step by step, confirm home facts. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to make sure that this is all accurate, which we already went through, so I'm not going to go through it again. Confirm facts and close. But that's a place where you can correct any property, you know, so say the place has a bathroom that they don't have a permit for. You're the only person that's going to see this except who you share it with. So review comp analysis. We already made adjustments. We're going to edit the value of the comps. So recommended price, we're not going to do that. So we're going to do anything from 475. Yeah, 475 to 625. We're going to save that. Average of comps, search for comps. Okay, so here, let's go into edit, search for comps. And we're going to select the comps we need. Over here, the pictures are showing it a little bit, but it's clicked on single family, active, pending, and closed. How far back do you want to go? I want to go 6 months. I want to go 3 to 4 bedrooms. I want to go 2 bathrooms. Square footage, I'll leave alone. The lot size, I'll leave alone. Price range, I'll leave it in there. Year built, 1950 to 60. I would actually make this more like 1940 to 1970. And then we're going to search. Now it's going to pull up comps. So this is right around the corner. Add to comp list. This one's right around the corner. I'm going to add it. This one, not really so much. So I'm going to pick the ones that I want. It's not really right around the corner, but I'll add these. If you see a star on any of those, it means that that property was used in considering what the AVM or RVM of the property was. I don't see any here, which is why they probably have low confidence. I'm going to add Roosevelt, and I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so once I have all my comps, I'm going to update valuation and close. And then you can create a report. This took another $9,000 off it. I'm going to save. Whenever it says save, I just save it. And then you can create the report. So when you create the report, it's going to have a lot in it. So you're going to have to narrow it down when you start on a report. And you are going to do, you want your name, your title, agent photo, work phone, email. I'll leave all that. What I'm going to do is pretty much show you what a seller's report looks like. So there's a property report, which is 28 pages. There's a seller report that's 81 pages, which is crazy. There's a property flyer that's 1 page, a mini property, which is 12, a valuation workbook. That's more like for an appraisal, and a market activity, and a neighborhood report, and a school report. So what I'm going to do is, this seller's report is too big. So I'm going to run a mini property report for 12 pages, and I run the report. While that's working, I'm going to also tell it to run a property flyer. You need a headline. Okay, I'm going to run this report. Oh. Okay, there we go. So I'm running that report just because I want to show you some of these. I'm not going to run this. I'll show you the property report just so you get an idea. If you look at these, it will tell you what would be in it. And then within that report, you can uncheck any one of those. So say you want the 28-page report, you want the bigger report, but you don't want homeowner facts, or you don't want the AARP livability, or you don't want historical photos. You can pick and choose within that larger report things that you want to include and not include. And then I'm going to run that report. Okay, the doorbell means my report's ready. So once you hear that doorbell, I'm going to download the first report. And it might not be the first one that I did, but this is a CAPE estimated at 684. Expanded CAPE, you'll see it's all branded. This is the flyer. So the flyer had less data, so it came quicker than the bigger reports. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So it has kind of just the basics, but you could put together a little flyer if you want for them. Hang on, it's under here. Stop it, hang on. Just give me 1 second, I gotta wait for that to go away.
Leslie?
Yes.
It's Grace. Can you go back, for example, if you want to change something on the flyer and edit it? Is
Yep.
that?
Yes.
Thanks.
It depends what it is. If it's pulling from your profile, then you have to change your profile. If it's pulling from the property, you have to change the property.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is a mini property report. Starts with photos, your branding. It's got your refined value, your comp analysis, your current estimated value. It's got all your properties information for the subject property. And then it has some extended, some additional information. Then it's got property history. So this is of the property. Sales history, it goes through what improvements were made, land. This is based on like assessment. This was bought for $374 in 2009. So then this just shows different ways that they've changed the assessments. It's got the legal property, tells everything about me, my bank, what I did. And then here's a mini property report, talks about the house and the comps. How does this house compare? So this is all graphs. Now it's looking at neighborhoods. Okay, so that's a mini property report. Let's see if it's about this one. Okay, this is the full property report. So a lot of this is the same. So I'm gonna go through the beginning pretty quickly because it's all a repeat of what we had last time. This is a little more detail than we had in the last report. It showed how we arrived at the 690. Market conditions, home improvement. So it's going more deep into the things that I just put in there. Okay, so now it's talking about the comps. The mini report didn't talk about that. So these are all the comps that were used. Property history, property report. So it's going through that. It's kind of this a little bit of a repeat, I think. It's got all these heat maps that show all different things, flood maps, housing stats. This is a huge, it's 30 pages, this report. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what's in most of it. It's a lot. Okay, so this we already looked at as far as stats and all that. Every time I move my mouse up there, that thing comes down and I can't do anything. Can I move this? Hold on. I gotta wait for it to go away. Then I have to sneak up so it doesn't know what I'm doing. Okay, so when you're doing a CMA also, there's something else that you can do that's pretty interesting. So if you go into the beginning, home, and then you put in an address. One of the things that you do when you do the CMA, remember we found the comps, but what you can actually do is when you search for comps, I'm just going to search the way they are. Okay, it shows you the range of comps. Oh, hold on one second. I want to get back where I was. There's a way to adjust your comps. Find that. Okay, here, when you search for comps and you go edit, it has all your comps here. Let me just get these all in. Okay. Let's throw them all in there. Boy, there's a lot of comps in there. Opt out valuation and close. And at any point, you could just clear everything you just did and start over again. So now the comps are in there. Search for comps, make adjustments. I want to show you this. This is really cool. So you can take one of your comps and on each one, 49 DeSoris Lane, how does this look at that open toilet? That's a shame. Okay, 669, how does this property compare to the subject? This is the way I do a CMA. Is this better or worse? So I'm going to say that this is a little bit worse. I'm going to say 28 Buckeye is about the same. And I'm going to say 4 Woodland is considerably better. And now I can adjust all of them to show what is better and what is worse. And as I do that, you can update it again. And now this changed the valuation again, because I went through all the comps. So first, you confirm the home facts, then you search for comps. After you put the comps in there, you have this line, make adjustments. If you go to edit, you can do that better or worse thing, and then you can provide your report. So let me just go back. I'm almost done. Okay, so what I want to show you too is here, I'm going to switch this to commercial. Okay, as I said, this only pulls from MLS. So if the commercial property would have to be on MLS, and most of them aren't, but I'll just go grab this property, 223 Glen Cove Avenue. It will give me a report on this property. It tells you a little bit about the last leased price, this little commercial space up here. It's rented for $1,100. It'll tell you the owner, the property facts, the tenants. I don't know if I would add a tenant, but you could if you wanted to. That's going to be for you. It will tell you interior features, exterior. So the same kind of thing for commercial. If you ran this report, you created a report on this property, just a general property report. Right now it's creating it. While it's creating that, I wanted to show you one other thing. Down at the bottom, there is a blog. Okay, if you click on the blog, they had some pretty cool stuff in there. In here, they have reports, appraiser, but then down here, they had like all kind of how to create Instagram posts using Canva. RPR's 10 best real estate apps. So they have some kind of helpful information for realtors that they're putting out there to you. Let's go back to this. Just waiting for that bar to go away. Can you guys see that bar too? The mute stop video thing I'm fighting with. Okay, all right, so that's basically what I had to show you. The report's ready, hang on, I'm gonna go back and get it. Rid of that, rid of that. Make sure this is not. Okay. Let me go back. I'm going to go back for a minute. I wanted to show you that property report, but it's behind the Zoom bar, so it's hard to get to. Okay, so go to Realtor Property Resource. There I am. If you go under your reports, it's going to have all your reports, commercial reports down here. So if you missed that like doorbell and you need to go back in, get rid of this. There we go. Okay, so there's 2 property reports in there. If you want to personalize it and do that, you can. Here it is. You can download them too. So this is what it looks like, the report. It's got the property. It's got the public facts, property report, owner information. It's got the map, satellite, road, overhead. Then it's got some photos, historical photos, property report. It also has traffic counts, which is very handy. Like you could go to somebody with this report to show how many cars drive by a day for those that don't do commercial. So let me just hang on one second. All right, so I am back. Hold on. Okay. I am back. Is there any questions? No questions after all that?
Leslie, you're awesome.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Grace.
Yes, thank you, Leslie. You've been
Yeah, so
great.
the best thing to do is go in there and play with it. You
Right.
can't break it. If you need any step-by-step instructions, that's fine. I can give them to you, but you can also use those shortcuts. They're like a guided tour of RPR that'll bring you through it. But again, buyers, sellers, appraisers, property data, public records, school, neighborhood. I mean, it's really got everything in there that you could possibly want.
Leslie, can you explain the appraisal part again?
Yeah, I was just saying that, you know, when you bring comps to an appraiser, most people bring the MLS printout, which is fine, but they have access to MLS. To give them something they don't have access to, you might want to give them an RPR report, even if it's just like, you'll see a property flyer or a mini report or something like that that tells you something about the house. Make sure, of course, that it works in your favor to do so.
Right, of course. And to go to see the flood zone, you go through the home, right?
Mhm.
See
There's a
the-
property search, and when you scroll all the way down, there's ownership information, there's public records, and there's also, it tells you what zone of flood, and that pulls from FEMA. And it tells you exactly where it pulls from.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I like it. I don't like things a lot.
I know that, Mark. I'm happy you like it.
No, it's actually
Mark,
really
that's
good.
good. That's good.
It's very good.
Okay. All right, so go and use it, play with it, and have a great day.
Thank you,
everybody, for
Leslie.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.